All right, so let's take a call. We've got the random rants of Ryan. Ryan, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Frank.
Dude. First of all, I was just recently introduced to your your channel there, and really good stuff and really ballsy stuff. And speaking of balls, the thing I first saw of you was "Suck my balls." Pizzagate is real. Now, it was very, very capturing. Obviously, it held me captive. I just want to give you the floor a little bit. Just let everybody know this is a very, very big stance to make, to be that blatant, that open. What recent turn of events or what has culminated into your stance now that you want to get the message out? What has really gotten you ready to shout it from the mountaintops?
Yeah, thank you for having me again. So I was a researcher right on top of the Pizzagate thing, right when it broke. I think my first video was like the first week of November. I've been following this.
Of last year?
Yeah, of last year.
Cool.
So it was one of the first videos on YouTube. So I've been following the whole unfolding of this research, this sort of blockchain research, spontaneous citizen investigation thing, whatever it is. It's kind of some new thing. Mm-hmm. But the recent evidence or things that came out that really, I always kind of knew it was real, but that really made me feel like I could come out publicly and say very surely that I felt it was real was the Eric Prince information that came out on the OIG report. That that validates his statement on I believe it was Breitbart Radio.
Yes, that was something that I had. It had just been. It's such that one call to Breitbart Radio. I believe he did the interview with Alex Marlow in the morning. I heard it on live, and I had to go find it. And thankfully, they put the clip up there. That has been such an important call to me that I have recommended people listen to for a long time, because not only was it the call made in such a critical time, just a couple of days before the 2016 election, then there was radio silence. We never heard about it again until recently. And it's talking about that same OIG report that you just mentioned there. Can you nutshell that a little bit for the people at home?
Yeah, basically Eric Prince, he's the CEO of Blackwater. He basically laid out that he had information from the NYC that the Anthony Weiner laptop contained on it a whole bunch of illegal activity, basically. Yep. And basically one of the things he said, it also contained underage sex or sex with a minor, basically. And I don't think he stated specifically who, but the way he phrased it, it sounded like someone within or near around Hillary Clinton, basically.
I remember
this
was
that separate from the.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, this is separate from the Anthony Weiner. Anthony Weiner was sexting with a 15-year-old girl. This would seem very clearly something separate from that. Sounded like possible physical evidence, a video or photos or something of that nature. Anyways, Eric Prince stated that as he goes through the interview, he basically said that I believe the State Department came down on the New York Police Department, tried to get them silenced or did silence them because they had threatened to come out publicly.
The DOJ.
And the DOJ. Yeah, sorry, thank you. And then Prince said that his informant had mentioned that they were going to use, I believe was it Eric Garner?
Yes.
The guy that got strangled? Yes. They were going to use the Eric Garner case as leverage. That's basically what it came down to in a nutshell. That was Prince's, we'll call it testimony on the radio show.
You know what I don't get about you know what I don't get about that, just to interject 1 second. The thing I never got about that is and now it's been verified that there is that pressure that came down from the Department of Justice onto the New York Police Department and the New York FBI offices. that there was this DOJ pressure. It wasn't a theory. First of all, Eric Prince is pretty. That he spoke pretty confidently on the matter. Said that he knew several police chiefs that had viewed the material and that they were so appalled that they were just so stricken as just fathers, not just police chiefs, that they had to do something about it. The one thing that I don't get about that is if you're standing on top of something that is so heinous that it is thought to be more of a humanitarian issue than anything else that could be spoken of. Why the hell would anybody ever allow the DOJ reopening the Eric Garner case over them, stop them? Why wouldn't you say, you know what, we'll suffer those slings and arrows and cross that bridge when we come to it? This needs to be talked about. I don't understand how that actually ever stopped anybody.
Yeah, that's a great question. Sorry. I think that would open up a whole can of worms of discussion. But, you think about, you look at like when we went to war with Iraq, there wasn't really that many people that stepped forward in the administration and blew the whistle on it. And,
I guess.
It's
true,
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think we're very well programmed, most of us in the society, to be very collectively minded, very group oriented, and I think we're very easily controlled.
Yeah. No, I believe so.
And I think a lot of people don't want to rock the boat. They're not. They have families, they have kids, they have a job, da-da-da-da-da.
So
and that life is comfortable and easy, but...
And of course, this would just shatter the entire illusion for sure. You don't want to have the big show be interrupted. It's your movie. You're living it out, and it's life is hard enough. But to think that the people who are supposed to be keeping social, society in order are actually part of this mechanism that is so ugly or has ugly aspects of it. It's really shitty. So now you go to the OIG report. This little snippet of the OIG report came out that was focused around Andrew McCabe, and of course McCabe had a lot to do with the Anthony Weiner thing over there. Now that was a New York City Police Department investigation because of course the crime took place in New York City, but once the emails that were synced to Weiner's laptop were found, the hundreds of thousands of pieces there, that is when the FBI, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, they are brought into it because, of course, this is all part of a case that has been put to bed. So it gets reopened, and now they're all involved in it, and this is why the OIG report actually harkens back to it. Because if it weren't for Anthony Weiner, and if you really think about it, you're saying this before, that this is all separate. Weiner was texting with a 15-year-old somewhere in the Carolinas, I think, or something like that. If it wasn't for Weiner, it's all because of Anthony Weiner and talking to this one young girl in the South that all of a sudden this stuff was blown open. If he didn't do that, then none of this. So if you want to talk about the unspoken thorn in the side of the entire system, it's going to be Anthony Weiner. There's more than enough to take the whole upper echelon of these folks down as it is, but my God, what this has led to, this laptop.
Yeah, he can't keep his wiener in his pants, unfortunately, and
well,
haven't whole kingdoms fallen for such things?
Oh yeah. Oh, listen, wars.
Yeah.
How many? The faces that have launched 1,000 ships. Things far worse things have been done in the name of women and sex.
Yeah, exactly. And he seems like a sex addict. I mean, he is very. I mean, obviously he was sexting with a 15-year-old girl, which is illegal and highly inappropriate. But a lot of people don't know that he was actually exchanging. If you go and read the details of the sexting, the girl testifies that he was exchanging rape fantasies with her and like really early, I'll use the term early, like bondage fantasy with her. So he wasn't just sexting with a 15-year-old. He was telling her how he wanted to rape her. And that's, Huma Abedin's, Hillary Clinton's aide's husband, and a prominent Democrat. That should raise some red flags.
See, when you live a life like that, that's the other thing. You want to talk about just common sense. When you live a life like that, and those are you have sexual proclivities that go to that extreme. I mean, already, if you and I have learned anything, and everybody at home too has learned anything over the last couple of years, it is quite literally that the world is held together by blackmail. The entire world is held together by blackmail, and for him to have an insurance folder on his computer with the type of sexual appetites that he has. I remember one of those terrible pictures that he sent out with his son laying right next to him in the bed. He's taking a picture of his boner with his son right next to him. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just sick fucking people. And
yeah, I mean, that's pedophilia. I mean, that's not pedophilia. That's pretty damn close to pedophilia. I mean, like doing that while you're sexting a 15-year-old about how you want to rape her. I mean,
yeah.
I think people. I mean, you have to think about the gravity of that. I mean, he's a sick puppy. I mean, for lack of a better term, there's something severely wrong with that guy.
Absolutely. So now after the reports, you have the reports. You have Eric Prince. What else? We have about 2 minutes until I have to wrap up. But and by the way, I'd love to have you on again sometime. Thank you so much for making the debut with us. But what else really nailed it home for you, if there is anything else?
Yeah, the other big thing that to me that proves the whole shebanger is the NXIVM's arrest. If people don't know,
right?
NXIVM's being reported as a sex cult that recruited adult women. But if you go and check out the indictments, there's pending charges on Allison Mack and I believe Keith Raniere. And those charges are child sex trafficking.
I saw that.
And Keith Raniere, so, I mean, there it is in black and white. So Keith Raniere also has been accused of having sex with underage girls for literally years, for decades, a solid decade. So this is nothing new. He probably is blackmailing, back to blackmailing. He had spyware on Edgar Bronfman's computer. And had access to his emails, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure he probably had protections from people he garnished information from Edgar Bronfman's computer, his home computer. That's just my speculation, but that's where logic leads you. That's how he was able to get away with so much criminal activity. If you do a Google search of NXIVM, they've been in the news for a decade, suspected of all kinds of criminal activity. This is nothing new. It's just finally they were taken down.
And this is another New York. This is another New York operation too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Keith Raniere likes to follow Hillary Clinton around. Actually.
Yeah. Well, there's not only the Clinton connections that I saw that are being made, but there's also connections to our own senator over here, Kirsten Gillibrand.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, hold on. Wait.
Roger Stone. Yeah. Roger Stone worked for NXIVM.
Really?
Actually, I caught Roger Stone lying on InfoWars about his association with Keith Raniere. I have a video of it if anybody wants to go check it out on my channel.
Wow, I had no clue about Roger Stone. You know what, Kirsten? While you're on the Kirsten Gillibrand NXIVM, it's spelled rival slams her father. Oh, it's Kirsten
I actually made a rap.
Her father. Senator,
okay.
This is from March 27th. Kirsten Gillibrand's rival slams her father's ties to alleged sex slave cult. Let me see here. GOP senatorial candidate Chell Farley noted that Gillibrand's father, Doug Rutnick, was once a lobbyist for NXIVM and its founder, Keith Raniere. For Kirsten Gillibrand, the self-proclaimed Me Too senator, to claim ignorance about notorious sex slave cult in her own backyard is simply hard to believe. Raniere hired Rutnick as a lobbyist in 2004, only to later sue him. Rutnick settled the case for $100,000. $100,000. And I mean, the ties between Gillibrand and the Clintons are very, very strong as well, which is why when the Me Too stuff came out and she was out there, pontificating about Al Franken and Roy Moore and all that stuff. That's why the internet started getting flooded with pictures of her with the Clintons when they were raising money for her to stay in the Senate and all that stuff. And only then did she think that it was convenient to start distancing herself from the bad reputation that Bill had. So it is kind of a real symbiotic circle, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's also too important to note that's not a partisan thing. This happens across partisan lines.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, if anybody remembers, Dennis Hastert was second in line to be president of the United States, and he's now a convicted pedophile. So.
Yes, and have you learned, because you're so interested in this stuff? Have you ever read into the accounts of people like Kathy O'Brien?
I have not, to very great detail.
It's very, very interesting stuff, man. I'm just finally getting through Transformation of America. After the show, we'll hook up and I'll get you some stuff, and we can plan our next call sometime in the near future. But dude, thank you so much for your time that you spent with us tonight. You give all of your sites and URLs a plug.
All 50 of them. Basically, go to Random Rants of Ryan on YouTube, click on one of my videos, and then all my information's down in the description box usually. So
there you go. Random Rants of Ryan
on YouTube.
Ryan, thank you so much for the time tonight, man. This was great.
Yeah, thank you for having me. But
all right, man. Have a good one. Take care.
Yep, take care.